Today on TALON TV, an underwater ROV demonstration, students learn about 3D printing, and TALON takes. All of this and more next on TALON TV. Welcome to TALON TV. I'm Luke Lewis. Robots are everywhere this week, with students improving their designs and experiencing real-world robotic applications through expert presentations. Students at the Lakeland and Winter Haven Polk State campuses recently learned about underwater remote-operated vehicles. Let's check in with Andrew and Ziomara to check the ROV in action.
On Thursday, June 17th, the Eaglebots and Technobots got to see a very different type of robot, an ROV.
An ROV is a type of underwater robot that was built and developed by collegiate high school students.
Polk State College professors Suzanne Halverson and Joey Meyer coordinated the presentation.
The ROV presentation included a description of the building process of the robot and the demonstration of what the underwater robot can do.
The presentation integrated water sampling, robotics instruction, video production, and scuba oversight.
What was special about the ROV presentation was that it exposed TALON students to almost all areas of STEM and promoted critical thinking.
They were also given an inside look at college-level research, as well as actually being able to control a robot in a small swimming pool.
The Open ROV project was a vision through Professor Meyer, who is a biology professor at Polk State College. And Professor Myers had a vision for building the Open ROV, which is an underwater robot from scratch.
The fish are eating it, and then the big fish eat that. So they assembled this drone, this ROV from a kit, this remotely operated vehicle. We still have million-dollar oil exploration underwater ROVs, but we now have personal class ROVs, and they're actually being used for legitimate research. The TALON Robotics program, it teaches kids one step of that already with the programming. It gets them familiar with the idea of setting up a small vehicle that they control. All the things that in the past were things we might hear about, we now can look at in real time underwater exploration.
This is the STEM Open ROV Multidisciplinary Challenge. We are working on an underwater robot that will be used to collect water samples and also go around our lakes and check for microplastics.
It's basically made to help determine how much pollution, how much sewage water is in our water. And so our goal was to make it and actually test it out. We actually tested it in Palm Beach, around the Palm Beach area. We tested it in pools and lakes, and it actually works quite well. One of the most interesting things that went wrong with this project is we actually acrylic weld one of the pieces on backwards. So we had to kind of flip everything we did. So we had to be creative about our solution and kind of reverse engineer every part about it. Like we had to reamp the camera, we had to reamp the servo motor that controls the camera, the lights, everything had to be rerouted. There's a couple types of pollution we're specifically looking for. One is microplastics. Now, microplastics are very tiny pieces of plastics that are floating in the ocean. You know, scrubbers for your face, they have little beads. These little beads are plastic. Now, once you drain that down your drain, it goes into the ocean. And now, plastics are in your water. And when the fish eat the plastics, you eat the fish, you get plastics inside you. So that's one thing we're looking for. Another thing we're looking for is called fecal coliforms. That's E. coli, stuff that comes from sewage. So you have a lot of fecal coliform in your water, you know there's sewage leaking in your water. I don't think you want to drink sewage water.
We hope that this project will open up many new opportunities for our school, Chain of Lakes Collegiate High School, and we're also entering a Blue Ocean Film competition at the end of this year.
TALON students gained a new depth of understanding about cutting-edge manufacturing in Polk County this week. Staff from the 3D Innovation Lab at Polk State's Corporate College visited TALON students to share some of the latest uses of additive manufacturing, also known as 3D printing.
What was your favorite thing that you saw 3D printed on there?
3D printed pizza.
Pizza. That's convenient, right?
The pet.
The cat. Okay, cool. Anybody else? What? Yes?
3D printed cars.
Okay, did you notice that 3D printed hat he had on there too? From cars to clothes to animals? From the beginning, the fiddle from the beginning, all right. Instruments, cool. Well, there's lots of options you can do with 3D printing. The possibilities are endless. Science, research, art, design, even like your cup at home.
I liked how like when I held the cup, it didn't feel like hard, it was squishy and it was waterproof.
The little figure dude thing, yeah.
It would look 3D actually. It would look almost human size and you can do any object that you want.
Because you can build stuff inside of stuff. And because it's awesome.
I can make myself.
So anything can be 3D printed pretty much. Now, I have a question for you. What is 3D printing? It's also called additive manufacturing. What's the big deal between 3D printing, additive manufacturing, and the old way or the former way that we've been doing manufacturing called subtractive manufacturing? Does anybody know what the big deal is?
Additive is since they're just taking a material and adding it on and on and on to get the product, and the subtractive is when they're taking pieces out or carving it to make the final product.
Right, so at the end of the day, there's a lot more waste with subtractive manufacturing from everything that's being taken away from the big block of material than additive that's just layer by layer. And you can see that on this print by the end of our short talk today. It will have risen in design because it's building it layer by layer until it's complete. Pretty cool, right?
Time for the Talon Takes.
How to program and how to make a loop, a switch, how to make it move. We also learned about touch sensors, light sensors, ultrasonic sensors.
What different parts are there to a robot and how to build it?
I like the 3D printer because I was thinking like maybe in the future you could like wake up, they put the 3D printer on you and you just get clothes on without even putting stuff on, so.
Building robots.
I want to learn how to like really operate these robots and manage them and stuff like that.
I'm looking forward to build robots and program them. The other part is get to work with robots and building them. That's a little bit fun for me.
Learning how to program these robots and the lunches.
Thanks for joining us today for a peek into the 2016 Polk State College TALON Robotics program. I'm Luke Lewis. Stay tuned for our next edition of TALON TV.